Hello, everyone. It is so wonderful to see you. I am coming to you again from our home studio here in sunny St. Petersburg, Florida. And as everyone's filing in, I wanted to go ahead and say hey to everybody that I see where you're coming from. Go ahead and drop it in the comments what you most want to paint as I wait for everyone to kind of trickle in here and also work out my own stage fright a little bit. Anytime we do these presentations and the camera's on my face, I always get nervous. It's kind of like standing in front of a blank canvas. So thank you guys for coming today. I see Laura, I see Amy, I see Jane, I see Lolly is coming from Georgia, Joanne, I see Kitty coming from Minnesota, and Susan. For some reason, I can't see. Here we go. Well, there we go. Aha, there we go. Now I see all the comments. There we go. I'm trying to get the comments over here so I can see them. Hey, Kathy. She wants to learn to paint people. Leanne is coming from Texas. Annabelle wants to paint anything abstract, mainly flowers. Marianne's in Scottsdale and Naomi's in Athens. It is so good to see everyone here, and I am so excited to be able to talk to you all today. So keep telling me what you want to paint because I have a great presentation for you all, and I want you to realize that when I say what we're doing today can really make you paint anything, I mean it. And I mean that we're going to specifically talk about representational work, but you use the same concepts when you start going into abstract work. And way back when, I was doing abstract work as well. So thank you all for coming here today. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this. So I have like 18 million screens open in order to show you guys everything. So the 3 secrets to painting anything. And I really do mean anything when I say this. Today, I'm going to show you how you can make the shift from following along at a paint party. And then, that feeling when you get home and your stomach like drops because you've got this idea, you're looking at the canvas, and now you don't know what to do next. And so you try something, you think you remember what the instructor said, and it feels like a mess. So I'm going to help you make that shift to being able to make your very own art from your very own photo references. And a lot of times it feels like that can be a trick or magic or, it feels like some kind of talent that we don't have or is like just out of reach, but it really isn't. So first, what I want to do before we really get going, I want to give you all a really awesome tip. I want to show you and walk you through how I use my phone to make better photo references. So here is my phone. I have an iPhone, and I am going to caveat this with, I apologize, I'm not an Android user, but I'm sure Androids have similar settings, and from what I've heard, some Android phones have even better settings, but I'm an Apple girl. Everything we have is Apple, so I'm going to walk you through how to do this on your Apple product. So I'm in the Photos app. It's that flower that you see. It has a million pictures of all of our children and grandchildren and family on there. I take 98% of my reference photos just on my iPhone. So when you are on your iPhone, I want to show you what you can do to make your photos easier. You don't have to get a special app. You don't have to pay money. All you need is your Photos app. So what I do, number one, is look at how many pictures I take. This was over a week in Kansas. I take tons of pictures. I have thousands and thousands of pictures, which in and of itself can be kind of its own challenge. Like, what do you do with all those pictures? Oftentimes they just sit on my camera roll and I really need to organize them. But, like here I have the barn that we did for the lunchtime paint along. I probably took 10, 20 pictures just of the barn. And I take it from different angles. I do it from different uh, views, croppings. I do it horizontal, I do it vertically. And I try and get all these different ideas. So my first tip is to try and get a whole bunch of different angles and try to just, get high, get low, get close, get far, and just get a whole bunch of different ideas. Sometimes it helps to like put your camera down next to you and not even look at the picture you're taking and see what comes out. And it will create some magic. Okay, if your screen froze, make sure you refresh. So first what I'm going to do is I'm showing you guys a picture that I took here in the Photos app. I'm still in the Photos app. I have not changed apps. What I do is I go, and if you, in the top right, if you click that edit, there are two tools that I like to use, and they're easy to use. The middle tool on the far right, those three circles, that changes the color of a photo. And the one underneath it that looks like a weird spinny square is the crop tool. I use those two the most on my phone, and I don't pull this into Lightroom. I don't do anything. I don't make many adjustments on my reference photos, but I do use these two constantly. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll go into the color. It's this one, the three circles. And what I do is I change it to a black and white picture. And so when you change it to a black and white picture, it tells you if the photo is interesting, if it makes sense, if you're still interested in it when it's turned to black and white, you know you're on the right track. Now, the next thing that I do is I use that crop tool and I go to town. I have a ball with this, and I will spend not more time painting, but I will spend a lot of my time on this prep stage. I will work on cropping my picture. So I'm just going to pick a ratio. I mean, you can pick square, you can pick all these different croppings, but I'm going to pick 4:3. That's about 8:10. It's a little bit, it's like 9:12, but close enough. So you can try it, see how it looks horizontally. You can see how it looks vertically. You can see, ooh, this is like actually a really cool picture. You can crop it in different ways. You can see how it looks. You can get in really close. You can pull it out. Just get in here and play with this feature. This is a really powerful tool that we carry around in our pockets every single day. Come up with different croppings, see what works. I can decide, hey, I'm more interested in the barn. I'm going to move this so that, you got to play with it too. It does different things. But I just want to focus on the barn. Okay, well, I'm not as interested in the barn. I'm going to take this corner and drag it and hold on. Sometimes it gets a little, I'm going back to the original because it got a little weird. But sometimes it gets a little caught if you make so many changes. But what I want to do is I just play with the cropping. Like, I just have a ball with it. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, how's this look long and skinny? That's kind of an interesting crop, like that would make a really cool painting. Now I'd have to find a canvas in that size, and that's a little bit weird, but there's so many, we take a picture and we try to frame it at the time, and there are so many other things that we can do, and we don't have to use anything fancy. We don't have to necessarily go out and spend tons of money. We can use the tools that we have. So, yes, Sharon, I love it. You often paint pictures and you don't know where to begin. Well, this is all about how to begin, where we're going, how to go from that idea all the way to a finished painting. All right, so now I'm going to roll into now that I've kind of taught you all how to like use that tool we have in our purses, in our pockets all the time, I would like you to turn off all distractions, including that phone, and come in and tuck in and pay attention. Come back to me, because I'm going to really talk to you guys about how we get from this idea, I love barns, I love landscapes, I love flowers, to a finished painting. So you are here and you're in the right place. If you want to paint something, but you're not sure where to start, you've seen beautiful paintings in galleries, online, or at art shows, and you want to put your mark on the world in the same way. Or maybe you've done some wine and design nights. Raise a hand, give a wave if you love your wine and design nights. You love slinging paint, you love the colors and creating something, but you'd like to create your own paintings and you're not quite sure what the next step is. Or, maybe you're an eternal hobbyist. You love creating things for the pure joy of creation. Starting and finishing a project makes you happy. You often want to give your creations to friends and family. And you just want to keep learning for yourself because this is something you have decided is important and fulfills you. So right here in the comments, let me know, are you a curious beginner, number 1? Are you, number 2, an excited student? Or number 3, are you a joyful creator? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Oh, I see Kelly is a wine and design and Donna is a wine and design. Let me know what are your motivations for being here? Barb wants to take a still life and make movement. I love that. I love that. Flowers are such a incredible, you can do flowers forever. Like they're artists that's all they paint is flowers. I see Sally is number 3. Phyllis is number 3. Adrian, good to see you. Adrian is one of our Creative Circle members. Hey, Kim is a number 2. Sandra is a number 1. Sharon is a joyful creator. Sue is 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that's fabulous. Laura is graduated from beginner to student. She'd love to make some money in retirement. That's great. This will help you as well. Heidi is number 1. Ramona is number 1. Teresa gets stuck on where to start. Back to front, background first. Gina loves doing online tutorials, but she would like to start her own. Well, I want to let you know that whatever your motivation is for being here today, I'm here to support you in your journey. Whether you just want to explore and you don't ever want to show your paintings to anyone else and you just want to keep them to yourself, that's okay. If someday you want to create powerful enough paintings to sell them, I'm here to support you in your journey as well. So art is a journey and it is a lifelong journey. So whatever the reason is that you're here, I'm here to cheer you on. I love it. It has given me so much fulfillment to teach and see everyone succeed in their own paths that are so unique. I'm here for it. That lights me up. And so with that being said, if I just wanted to take a couple minutes and introduce myself in case we haven't met yet. I know we have some new people here today. In the left, you will see this is my husband, Joe, and my daughter, Rory. My husband, Joe, is in the energy industry. My daughter, Rory, is 9. Today was actually her first day of 4th grade. I dropped her off today. And gosh, this age is so much fun. I love watching her. And then you'll also see our punk rock bunny in the center. His name is Ziggy Stardust. He is named after the late, great David Bowie. And we used to live all over the world. We lived overseas for almost a decade. So, as you'll see in the background of those pictures, that's a volcano in El Salvador, and that's one of the black sand beaches down there. I absolutely love traveling, but we are now currently settled and loving the west coast of Florida. So, a little bit more about me. I get to spend about 75% of my time in the studio, either painting for shows or for myself, or teaching. I play kickball very badly on the weekends for fun, and I own that. I do it for the pure joy of it. I am not in it for the trophies. That is my own personal journey forever. And one of my goals is I try to get at least one passport stamp each year. If I can get more, that's even better. But, I love traveling. It really lights me up. But I wanted to tell you all of this because here's what I want you to really know. I'm going to teach you today what it takes to plan and create your own beautiful artwork. And the reason that I'm going to teach you this is because I've created 8 online workshops. I've taught over 2,000 students online at this point, and I've also been creating and selling my work for over 15 years, and my work has been collected across the world. So when it comes to learning and teaching painting, I know what works and what doesn't. I have made all of the mistakes. I have spent all the money. I've chased all of the fads. So that's why I'm really excited to sit here and talk to you today, is because I've been through it myself. So, give me a yes right now in the comments if you can imagine walking up to an easel, pulling out your photo of inspiration, and creating a beautiful painting from photo reference to finish that you are proud to show others. Give me a yes in the comments if you see that and that's something that you want to be able to do. So, yes, I see some yeses coming through. Sharon and Michelle says yes. Barb says yes. Mary Jane, yes, it's her dream. Jennifer, it's her dream. Oh, it is so fabulous. Adrian, you are doing amazing, by the way. I've been watching your progress. Kelly, yes. Nancy, yes. Annabelle, yes. We're here to cheer you on. So also in the comments, cheer each other on for this. We're all here to support each other. So, painting paintings seems really complicated, but the secret to it really only comes down to 3 things. And I'm going to show you throughout this presentation some of our Creative Circle members that I've been unintentionally teaching this for the last 2 years, and I haven't condensed it into a course before now. And so some of our Creative Circle members have been following this along with me and have really leveled up their skills and have made so much improvement. Here's one of our members, Esther Skinner, who this is just the progress that she's made in a year. She's just doing so awesome. And it really just comes down to 3 simple steps. It really is that simple. There's no tricks to that. I'm not pulling your leg. It's really, every painting that I sit down and paint only has 3 steps. And so this is what we're going to talk about today. First, I'm going to lead you through the 3 steps. And the first step is conquering composition. And then the next step to every painting is nailing the value. And then the final step is icing the cake. And now, just to set expectations, if you really want to be able to go deep with me and learn more about each one of those steps, I'm going to show you an opportunity so that you can work with me to learn this more in depth and really jumpstart your painting. And at the very end, I'll be taking your questions. If you still have any questions about anything, feel free. I'm going to wait until the end to answer all of them. So the 3 steps to painting, without further ado, are: step 1 is conquering your composition. Step 2 is nailing your values. And step 3 is icing the cake. If you have done any of my workshops, any of my lunchtime paint-alongs, any of our painting demonstrations in the Creative Circle, I follow this process every single time. I've just never had the opportunity to show you the behind the scenes of it and guide you through that process so that you can do it for yourself. So the first step is composition. Composition is the secret sauce to gorgeous paintings. I'm going to beat this drum over and over and over again. Composition is the secret sauce to gorgeous paintings. A fancy technique can't save a poor composition. 9 times out of 10, when I have somebody say, I don't like my painting, I don't know why, it's not using impasto, or I use palette knife, or I use this fancy color, or I dripped, or I did flow. It's not the technique. It's not the paint. It's not your tools. It's not your materials. It's the composition. It's the composition, the composition, the composition. 9 times out of 10, that's what is making you frustrated about your painting. Now, you don't need to be an expert. You just need a good composition. The composition of any painting is what we like to call the bones. If you've done a workshop with me, you hear me talk about the bones of a painting over and over and over again. We show off our bones, we talk about our bones, we try to get the good frame. If you have a good framework and a good plan, then you'll have a good, strong painting. If your foundation is weak, if you don't have enough of the framework properly set up and thought through, no amount of fancy technique or colors can save your painting. You know, it's like when you would go on a road trip back before there was Google Maps. You know, you would actually pull out an atlas and make a plan, and before there was a rest stop every mile marker, like, you had to think things through. Otherwise, you could wind up on the side of a mountain with no bathroom in sight and 50 miles from gas. So this is like planning for a road trip. We need a plan, and it needs to be a strong plan and a good plan. So I want you guys in the comments right now these are all my paintings, by the way. I'm showing you all of my paintings and how I have improved, and what I used to be doing and the struggles I went through like you did. Here are 2 of my paintings. Now, I want you in the comments not necessarily talking about the painting techniques, but which composition out of these 2 is better. Is A better or is B better? Let me know in the comments. I see B, I see B, B, B. Bonus points if you can tell me why. I see Sharon says B, Gina says B, Annabelle says A, Beth says A, Jennifer says B. Awesome, y'all. All right. B, perfect. And now I want you to look at these 2. Tell me which, these are the same subject, they're the same format. Which one jumps out and grabs you? Which one has a more dynamic composition? The icing on the cake of these 2 isn't that different. The techniques I use aren't that different. It's the exact same kind of paint, same brushes, same materials. Tell me which one of these is a better painting and throw that in the comments. D, C, and bonus points if you can tell me how the composition is better. D, D, D with the darks and lights. D, good lighting. Interesting. See some D. Perfect. So of these two, D is going to grab your attention from across the room. C, not so much. So D has a really strong composition, where C, the composition, it's not bad, but it's not as strong. Um, but my point with this is whether you want to paint candy apples, landscapes, portraits, or animals, it's not the topic or the subject matter that matters the most. It's your willingness to believe in your abilities and to take yourself seriously. You are an artist. No matter what we say, as long as we are practicing art, you are an artist. Here's a great example of someone who has, one of our Creative Circle members, Jean, has been doing, she's been practicing with us for a year now. And look at the improvement that she has made as she's been learning more about the foundations and the fundamentals of painting. She's made so much progress, and all it takes is practice and learning the foundations and the fundamentals to get you there. So the first step to painting was conquering composition. Now we're going to move on to step 2. So every time I sit down to paint, I make sure I have a good composition. And then my next step is to nail the value. Value creates interest. If you get the values correct, you can use any color you want. And I mean that. You can have a purple cow. You can have people, if you're doing portraits, they can be in turquoises and pinks. If you get the value correct, color doesn't matter, really. It's then color is your playground. So after you have a good composition, you need to nail your values and really understand values. Now, what is value? Well, value is how light or dark something is. Every painting has a value pattern, and that means every painting has a pattern of light and dark that you can see when you look at the painting in black and white. With that being said, every color has a value. And oftentimes our brains try to tell us something is a color, but we need to learn to see its value. So here's a great example of how I try to nail the value. And value is a part of composition too. You know, if it looks good in black and white, it'll look good in color. So, oftentimes we'll see something and we're like, that's so beautiful. And then when we try to make a painting out of it, we haven't looked at the value structure. And when we start painting it, we don't have accurate values. And that really makes it tough to pull it all together. So here's another example of one of our Creative Circle members that I am just so proud of. I keep bragging on y'all, so thank you for letting me do this. This is Celeste. She has been a Creative Circle member for a long time now. Elsie was the first painting I did with Shelby. I joined the Creative Circle soon after. The landscape is the last painting I've finished. I posted some of my paintings on my personal Facebook page, and a friend who also paints told me she liked how loose my style has become. I was happy with that compliment. I'm better with color, but still working on composition. And Celeste also has another win that I want to celebrate for her. She said, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and taking another step in my artistic journey. I'm a member of our community's art guild, and today we are taking part in a sip and stroll event in the community. So I also want to point out that Celeste is an art teacher of her own. She teaches art on a regular basis, and so oftentimes, I teach art, and it is so awesome that she is continuing to enrich herself and find the why and the how, and also build her own skills with her own painting. So I love bragging on our members. They're such incredible and kind, generous people. So we are definitely cheering you on here, Celeste. Now, step 2, if you've done my workshops, I talked about it yesterday in the sunflower paint along. We all go through that awkward phase. The second step, when we're trying to nail the value, oftentimes this stage of painting can feel pretty flat. Maybe there's some volume and definition, but not a lot. I want you to remember that's okay. It's okay if this stage of the painting doesn't look perfect. It's actually fine if it's not gorgeous and, the prom queen. We're just focusing on the fundamentals, and we're trying to get the fundamentals right. What's important is nailing the value and the general color mass. Have you ever gotten to that stage where you felt like your painting is awkward? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to show you, if you've ever felt like your painting is awkward, just drop a like, me too. Throw in a panda emoji if you want. I know I have definitely had my fair share of awkward pandas. And I have had my fair share of, oh my gosh, can I pull this one out? If you look at these two paintings, this is kind of that block-in phase, the awkward teenager phase. And it's okay. We have to make sure we take this process have faith in ourselves. And if we just look at our values, look at the composition, and stay the plan, then we'll be able to ice the cake. So feeling awkward, feeling unsure at this phase is totally normal. It's totally natural. I feel it all the time. And actually, the only time I ever take photos of this phase is when we're doing the workshops together, because generally this is the phase where I like walk away and take a break and then come back later, and I don't take a picture of it because I don't want to remember it, right? So I feel you. I definitely, it's like, oh, are we going to do this thing? Or is it going to work? I don't know. But once again, if we have conquered the composition and we have nailed our values, we are ready to go on to step 3. So if you've done this with me before, drop in the comments, tell me what the next step is, because I know you know what the next step is. It's the phase that we all love. We are going to ice the cake. Now, this is the fun stage, and honestly, a lot of what you see on the market right now, or just in general, like a lot of that focuses on icing the cake. You'll see fancy techniques, you'll see fancy how to do flowers, how to paint trees. And so you think you have to paint a thing, or you think you need a certain fancy stroke, or you need a special material to get there. But what we really need are the first 2 steps of this journey and making sure they're correct. This stage, if you're doing the first 2 stages, this one will come. And this one will take some practice, but 9 times out of 10 when I'm working with students, if they're unsure or frustrated by their painting, they're missing the first 2 steps. So the other thing to keep in mind with this final stage is enjoy the process. Remember, this is a journey, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like, don't worry about the finished product. Just enjoy the fact that you're painting and exploring and pushing yourself. And as you're going, this is where we start building out the nuance in our values and colors. We take that basic color, we take that basic value, and we start adding more detail. We start adding more nuance. We take it from flat to fabulous. So here's a couple tips for icing the cake. Tip number 1 is go slower than you think. Don't speed through this process. Really think through it. Make concerted, like put a stroke down, or if you're mixing a color, put a little dab of the color down and see how it dries to see if it's the color that you want. Feel free to take breaks if you need it. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Don't feel like you have to rush through it. If you are finding yourself doing things that you're not happy with, walk away for a little bit and come back with fresh eyes. Oftentimes, I'll rush to get through to this final stage, and then I'll be mentally fatigued. Like, I've been painting for a long time to get here, and then I do two or three things I don't like, and it's simply because I've been painting too long. So I need to put down the brush, go get a snack, walk around, come back tomorrow, get some sleep. Like we don't need to rush this stage. And my third tip is to really fall in love with the process. Don't worry about the finished product because we don't have failures. We don't have mistakes. We just have things we learn. So even if the result is not exactly what you want it to be, you're going to learn something from that process. And that learning is so valuable. So just to show you how this stage kind of progresses, we're going to go back to a couple of the awkward pandas that I've had in the past. Like I call this the awkward teenager phase, is kind of what we kind of call it together. And my flowers are blocky, things aren't, you can see where things are going on the right. This blocking isn't even totally finished, but there's no volume, there's no definition. You can actually still see my grid through the painting. And when I move past this and keep going and start, trusting the process, then all of a sudden it pops. We have that moment where it starts coming together. So the 3 steps that I use every single time I sit down is I have a plan. I go in, my first step is I conquer my composition. I develop the plan. I think through the plan. Then as I start executing the plan, that's step 2, I really work on the values. I make sure I have my values and my color masses correct. And then the final stage, I ice the cake. This is a great example. This is my plan. And then as I'm nailing the values, nailing the composition, making sure it all works, I then get to ice the cake. So this is an example of my 3 steps in action. And here's another great example of really, by the time I figured out this 3-step process, you can really literally see it in this painting series I did. I was kind of going without a plan. I was just, I want to do windows. I wasn't thinking about composition. I wasn't thinking about value. But doing this painting series really helped me focus on composition, value, color, all of the fundamentals of painting. And you can see the improvement in between painting 1 and painting 100. Painting 1, you're not going to really even notice it. It kind of just fades into the background. But painting 100, this one on the right, you see that from across the room and it grabs your attention. It is dramatic, it is dynamic. The focal point is much better and stronger. It is overall a much better painting. And here's another example. These 2 paintings are almost a decade apart. And during that time, I started focusing on composition. I started focusing on value. The painting on the left, there's not much change in value. The dad kind of winds up being the focal point, and he's kind of dead center. And I have that street is in the center. It just kind of goes into nowhere. This is not a terribly interesting composition. It's not something you want to stay and look at and really dive into. But the painting on the right grabs your attention from across the room. There's contrast. There's more dynamic flow through the painting. There's a better variation of value, but there's also harmony. So after I started really focusing on this three-step process, my paintings had this gigantic leap in improvement. So tell me in the comments, would you like me to help you go from an unsure beginner to a confident artist as quickly as possible? I made this transition over a decade and through a lot of trial and error. And we have a lot of our creative circle members who over the last couple years have been making incredible progress. And I realized that there is a way for me to help everyone make progress even faster, is to take this process and really go deep, and not have it be kind of a piece here, a piece there, but really go from soup to nuts. This is how we do it together. I mean, we have a couple options available to you. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos and step-by-step tutorials and continue to build your painting skills, but you're probably going to be in the same place. Like I spent a decade chasing workshops, chasing teachers, chasing fancy materials. Oh my gosh, I spent so much on fancy materials. Rosemary is still finding boxes of materials. She's over here laughing about that. Or you can decide for the next 6 weeks you want to commit to learning and designing your paintings using a proven process. Those are our two options. We have option number one, where you keep going it alone and kind of taking from all over, or number two, you can join us for the next 6 weeks and really dig in and join us. You're invited. I've created a course called Confident Acrylics. It is the only online training of its kind that shows you exactly how to see inspiration and turn it into dynamic, beautiful artwork that you are proud to show your friends and family. Now, over the 6-week course, you are going to experience confidence to begin painting your own paintings. We have 6 beautiful painting demonstrations that you get to complete, that you can enjoy for yourself or give away to friends and family. You are going to build an understanding of the building blocks of dynamic art. You're going to build competence in using and choosing your tools, and you are going to get peace and calm as you take time for yourself to expand your skills. So I wanted to give a shout out to one of our creative circle members who has been achieving this on her own and through a lot of our lessons at the creative circle. This is Teresa. She just recently completed her first painting on her own from a photo reference. That is such a huge accomplishment. Now, over the 6 weeks, here's what we go over. And class starts on Monday, August 22nd. The first module is all about materials. What brush do I use? What canvas do I use? I'm going to break it down and show you everything you need to know about your materials, where to invest your money, where you don't need to spend money, so that you can have the best tools to work with the least amount of frustration and the least amount of friction, so that you can make the progress and be painting the paintings that you really want. Week numbers 2 and 3. We go deep into composition. Module 2, I go deeper into this 3-step process, and I really break down composition, value, and the icing. And then I really, really go into composition. We talk about how to get a good reference photo, how to crop a good reference photo, how to come up with a dynamic composition, how to look at things in just a couple values and make a really, really beautiful, interesting design. We talk about design a lot because the design is the plan. The design is going to tell you, when you sit at your canvas and you're like, I don't know what to do next. If you have a plan, then you know what to do next. If you have a great photo reference that you can pull from, you know what to do next. So then in week 4, we go into value, and we talk about black and white, what makes things dynamic, how to look at color as value, how to really have a combination of values, once again, to make an interesting painting, to make a dynamic painting. Module number 5, we break down color theory, color mixing and color theory, how to get the color you want every time so that when you sit down and you have your plan, you don't have to worry about what color comes next. You know, and you can do it for yourself. So you can sit down and say, I have this grayish, pinky, peachy green. You'll know how to mix that color every time. And then module 6 will go into some advanced techniques that really help you with, that icing on the cake stage, like the brushwork, the scraping off, how to paint with not your brush. Like, that's where we get into some of the fun stuff that comes into the application of the paint that you need in those final stages of the icing on the cake. So the complete Confident Acrylics program is a $599 value. It includes 6 weeks of training modules from idea creation all the way to how to finish a painting. It has videos, it has PDFs, it has traceables, and it has a complete supply list. So it's everything you need over the next 6 weeks to learn how to paint a painting from start to finish. And then bonus number 1 is we have 6 weeks of live Q&A sessions with me in a private members only Facebook group, which is a $697 value. So every week we will meet towards, the modules are going to be released at the beginning of the week, and then you'll have several days to work on them. And towards the end of the week, either, I think the first couple are on Thursday, you get to meet with me and bring your questions. Additionally, because it's in the private Facebook group, we're going to have exercises for you to work through. You can post them in the group, and you can get people to, you can get your, not colleagues, you can get your other classmates to help you work through it, to comment on it. And the really dynamic thing about this is when we learn together, we go farther. When we're helping each other, we go so much farther than even if I just teach you and do it that way. So this community spirit really, really is amazing. We've seen it work. We've seen people improve so much in the creative circle by doing this. And I'm really excited to be able to extend this to basically a 6-week study session of painting. Like, this is super fun. If y'all know me, I'm not special. I'm not superhuman. I don't have access to museum curators. I am a regular person. I don't have a superpower. I don't have extra technology or resources. If anything, if y'all have been with me for a while, you know how truly human we are, especially when it comes to technology. But as far as painting goes, I just have a proven process that I've honed and that I use every time I set out to create and finish a painting. Now, bonus number 2 is I have 6 step-by-step painting demonstrations, which is a $397 value. So altogether, the bonuses are worth $1,000, $1,094. And so here's a sample of what you'll get to paint. And I did this because every week I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to teach you a concept, and I want to show how that concept plays through in a painting start to finish. And we learn by following along, but I'm going to really take you behind the scenes, my thought process, why I cropped things the way that I do, how I get in there and focus on the values, how I choose colors. I'm going to really take you behind the scenes to see in my head, so that then when you are working through the 6 weeks on developing your own painting, you'll be able to think about what I've been going through and be able to apply it to your own work. Now, this should cost $1,990, but we are offering it for $197 because this is our maiden voyage. This is a beta class. And what that means is that if you join us, this is the first time that we've launched it, and a beta class is fabulous because it we talk to you and we spend a lot of time on these Q&As. We listen to what your challenges are, and as the course goes on, we are continuing to tailor it to your needs. So you guys help us build the class and make it something really fabulous and fantastic, and as a result, we keep this at a lower price so that we can do that together. So if you would like to get started today, 6 weeks of art, it's $197. Rosemary is going to drop in the comments the link to get started. You can go to paintwithshelby.com/confident-acrylics-course, or Rosemary is dropping the link in the comments right now. If you are a Creative Circle member, we do have special pricing for our Creative Circle members, so be sure to ping Rosemary if you don't have that coupon code. We want to, and you know, this class is starting. We're keeping this very low key. We want to be able to be intimate with our students. We want to be able to really find out what's going on and help you. And so class is starting on August 22nd, and it will run for 6 weeks through September 30th. And you know, here's what you will overcome is you are going to get over that feeling in the pit of your stomach as you sit down and look at a blank canvas. You are going to get over that panic when you go to Michael's and wonder if you need craft paint or heavy body, and what in the world is the difference between those two. You're going to get over that doubt about showing your art to your best friend. So if you're ready to get started, go ahead and click the link in the comments, and you're going to scroll down, and you are going to go ahead and click the button and sign up. And then you are going to fill in all your information. And then finally, we are going to send you an email that has all of the login instructions. So make sure you check your email and click on the links. It'll give you the login instructions. And the first class, if you have any issues, the first class, make sure to, hold on, I want to make sure I'm not covering this up. Here we go. I'm going to move myself to the other side. If you have any issues, please email hello@shelbydillonstudio.com, and Rosie or Izzy or myself will get back to you as soon as possible. If you have questions, if you have issues, if you have any challenges logging in, please make sure to email us. So if you would like to get started, once again, the link is in the comments. And now, you know, I wanted to make sure that we were, here we go. I wanted to make sure that I answered any questions that you had. So I'm going to scroll through the questions right now. All right, so Jennifer, will you be sending the coupon code to the Creative Circle members? We emailed y'all already. And if you have not yet received it, be sure to email Rosemary. We have our Creative Circle Q&A tomorrow at noon on Zoom. So we'll make sure to also include the coupon in that Zoom email. But if you'd like to join us, please email Rosemary, hello@shelbydillonstudio.com, and we will get you that coupon code. Oh, excuse me. And Creative Circle members, this is a great solution to, we've gone in, we're re-recording, I'm revamping it, and making sure that this entire course is like a really good jump start. So if you've been doing some of the tutorials and you're still kind of unsure, like this will get you over that hump, and this will be a great time to sit down and focus together and really kind of get you to that next stage in your painting. Um, Pam, you would know if you're a Creative Circle member because we have our monthly paint. That's our monthly VIP membership. So um, that's how you would be a Creative Circle member. Um, Sharon, yep, get in touch with Rosemary. Um, let's see. Yes. Cam, it is weekly. We are going to be meeting weekly. So the first lessons all are released on Monday, August 22nd. And then from there on out, they'll be released on Sunday so that you can paint on the weekends. And I know a lot of people here do paint on the weekends. And then we will be having our Q&A later in the week, Wednesdays or Thursdays mostly, so that you have a little bit of time to get to certain points and bring all of your questions to us. So it'll be 6 weeks. And like I said, if you, with everything we do, you're never behind. You're going to have access to this for a year. We want this beta group to really be people that want to make that leap and really want to dig in right now. We don't want this to necessarily go to your course graveyard of where you've purchased things and wait to do them later, because we want to be able to refine this experience for the future. And really, if you are there and participating live with us over the next 6 weeks, we will be able to give you such a big experience. Barb, yes, we see you. You're in. Heidi, yes, all of the classes are recorded. Everything is pre-recorded except for our live Q&As. And those are weekly. And if you are not able to make the live Q&A, they will be recorded and uploaded into your learning dashboard. Let's see. Subnita said, we can paint at your own pace. You might not be able to commit weekly, especially in September. Yes, you would still have access. We're doing access for a year. And so I would really love to see you guys join us. You do not have to be there. Like I say with anything, art is a lifelong journey. Yes, this opportunity in the live portion of it is over the next 6 weeks, but like this, I'm going to be still painting when I'm 90, and what I'm going to be doing is probably going to be a little bit different from what I'm doing now. And I want the same for you. I don't want you to ever feel like you're behind or can't catch up, or even that you need to get to a certain level or do a certain thing. Like, so much about art is joy, and we're doing it because there's this thing inside of us that demands that we do it. And so we are responding to that place in our soul that is calling us to create. And we're just honoring ourselves that way. And it's literally a calling, and there's not a whole lot. There shouldn't be pressure on that. You shouldn't feel poorly because today was the first day of school and I had to go to Flag Day and be a part of my daughter's life. And oh gosh, I didn't get to paint this morning. No, the two can coexist. The two can coexist. And they have to, because we're human. Let's see. Yes, we will be teaching you brush strokes. Cindy said she thinks this is going to be a wonderful growth opportunity. It's going to help me commit to painting regularly, which is an important goal I truly want to pursue. You know what? Yes, 100%. I have found whenever I can put a little bit of structure into my practices or what I want to do, like kickball. When I actually, because I'm a professional painter, I try to relate it to like things that I do outside of this is my job. So whether it's my fitness goals or kickball, like I have to actually sign up for the classes and go to the classes to see progress. And um, I'm going to be working on my fitness my entire life, but during the times that I show up and do it, I feel more in shape and happy and healthy than I do when I'm sitting on the couch and just eating all the time. Um, Jennifer says, since the Q&A is recorded, is there still a way to ask questions, especially after the live? Yes, we're going to ask that everyone submit their questions ahead of time so that I have time to prepare the answers. And then, you know, after the live, we'll have a live every week. So if you miss one, you can always submit it for the next week, or we always encourage, just like if you're in the creative circle, we encourage that you submit to the Facebook group, and we will be in the Facebook group. And oftentimes your classmates know a great answer as well. Like I said, we all are enriched when we learn from each other as well. So even though it will be me teaching you this process and really going in depth about composition, color, value, all the foundations of art, it's also still a collaborative environment where we learn from each other. Like every time I teach a workshop and even interact with like straight beginners that have never picked up a brush, I learn things because everyone kind of approaches art life a little bit differently. And so I love that learning experience myself. Mary Jane, I'm so excited to see you. Um, Pat, we would love to have you. We would love to have you. Um, Beth, the cost for a Creative Circle member is $97. Y'all get 50% off. It might be $98, whatever the math is, half of 197. So the Creative Circle members get half off of this. And the reason why it is not included in your Creative Circle membership is because this is going to be such a focused experience, and we have re-recorded a lot of the content and revamped it. And there are 6 brand new painting demonstrations as well. So that it's been what I've been working on this summer. It has been incredible. It's been a lot of work, but I've been talking about releasing a course for a long time, and it's taken 2+ years of teaching before I finally myself got the confidence to release this out into the world. And I'm very excited to be able to go on this journey with all of you. Um, let's see. We are only going to be open until, I believe we will be closing this until Sunday. And the reason why we're doing that is because of the live component of this. At some point in the future, it might be released like as an ongoing class to take anytime. But because of the live component, we really want everyone to kind of go through this process together so that we can coach and cheer and have everybody more or less on the same page throughout the process. So it is released until Sunday, and then we will be launching it again at some point with the live experience, but we really want to focus on our first cohort and really being able to give you all of our attention for the next 6 weeks. Michelle is signing up now. Beth, yes, Beth, I have watched your progress and seen how much you are improving. You're doing a great job. Mary Beth, thank you. I appreciate that. You inspire me. Um, let's see. Um, all right, y'all. Well, I'm not seeing a whole lot more questions. We are going to go ahead and post the link one more time in the bottom. And then once again, if you have any questions, please, please, please be sure. I'm going to throw this up again so that I make sure we have it. Not check your email. If you have any issues, please email hello@shelbydillonstudio.com. You will get Rosemary or Izzy or myself. And if you have any questions, any issues, any troubles, um, go ahead and email hello@shelbydillonstudio.com and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Julie hasn't painted much. Will this be too intense? I don't believe so. Uh, this is designed for a beginner. This is designed for a beginner to novice painter. This is not designed for an expert painter. And in fact, if you're already out there rocking your own style, yes, there's more that you can always learn, but this is really designed for the beginner painter that is unsure of what to do next, has dabbled, um, follows along. Like if you've done any of my instruction with me and you enjoy my style of teaching, we would love to have you, and I think this would be a good fit, because you then haven't actually formed bad habits yet. You haven't if you're a beginner, you can actually jumpstart your progress and start. You don't have to spend 15, 12 years like I did chasing all the wrong things to really understand the fundamentals before you get going. So if you are a beginner painter, this is actually a great opportunity for you. Chris, first of all, I don't ever want to hear that you have no particular talent. If you can, if you have the desire and you call yourself an artist, you are an artist. And if you show up and you practice, you will become an artist and you will make a ton of progress. So, yes, if you decide that you want to do this and you decide that you are an artist, this is 100% for you. We get into It's a tricky conversation because a lot of people believe that it takes talent to be an artist. It doesn't. Painting is a skill, and I am here with this course to teach you that skill. Talent is one of the big myths that we constantly come up against. It's like playing the violin. It's like right now my daughter keeps telling me she has no talent in math. Well, she just doesn't want to memorize her multiplication tables. She's not bad at math. She just doesn't want to memorize it. She doesn't want to put in the work. So she's like, I have no talent. And I'm like, sweetie, you just need to memorize what 9 times 9 is. You don't need to count on your fingers. You just need to memorize it. And then you'll be fine. You know the concepts, and then you have to do a little bit of the work to build the skill. It's the exact same thing. So Sapnita, yes, we are so excited to see you. Julie, you're welcome. We look forward to seeing everyone. If y'all have any further questions, please be sure to email us and we will get right back to you. We really, really, like I said, I enjoy teaching so much. It has been such a fulfilling thing for me. And so I am very much looking forward to going on this journey with y'all for the next 6 weeks and seeing all of the progress that you can make. So I hope that you join us. And if not, I'll still be cheering you on from the sidelines. I know that you have it in you, and I know that you're an artist. So thank you all so much. And if you're a Creative Circle member, don't forget we have our live Q&A tomorrow at noon. I'm looking forward to seeing all of your smiling faces. All right. Thanks, y'all, so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.